Hey Cindy, this is the tutorial on how to use the camera. The easiest way to just get started is if you look at the camera, to the left of where the battery is, there's this little nub. It's a little plastic nub that sticks out. It's a little handle to open the LCD screen. So just grab that with your finger and pull it outward, away from the camera. When you open the LCD screen on this camera, you turn it on. So that's one way to turn it on. The other way is the viewfinder is on top of where the battery is. Just take your fingers on either side of the viewfinder here on top of the battery and just pull out. The thing that's a little bizarre about this camera is the main power source is the viewfinder, not the LCD screen. You can turn the camera on either way, but if you close the LCD screen and the viewfinder is also fully inside the camera, it's not pulled out at all, the camera will turn off no matter what you're doing. Now that you have it on, the record button is to the right of the battery. It's a little silver looking button with a red circle on it. Push that in and that'll just start recording. Okay, so pull the screen open and hit the button and you're recording. The zoom rocker is at the top of the camera. It says WT, W for wide, T for telephoto. Just move that left or right to either zoom in or out of the shot you're currently in. That's the simple part of the camera. Open the LCD screen, hit record on the right, and then zoom with the zoom rocker at the top. Everything else is automatic from this point. Just to break some things down, the screen is a touch screen. The top left to the bottom, there's a menu button, a battery indicator that shows how many minutes of battery time you have left. The record standby indicator, if you are not recording, it'll say standby in green. If you are recording, it'll say record in red. If you want to make sure you're recording, make sure you check that. The HDFX is the quality setting. That is the highest quality the camera can do. The little icon next to that shows that it's looking at the internal drive and not the memory stick. Underneath that is an indicator that shows how much recording time you have left. Right off the bat, you have 360 or so, 340 or something minutes, which is it's a little like 350 something, but it's a little over 6 hours. So that should last quite long enough. To the left of the screen, you'll see a little music note, and it says 2CH. That means it's recording in stereo and not 5.1. Just because there isn't really that much of an advantage to recording in 5.1 on this camera. Underneath that, you'll see AS -2. Well, it might not say -2. I forget what I set it to. It's AS minus something. And all that does is it takes whatever the exposure level is and reduces it down a stop or two. Mainly, I think the camera is set a little high out of being default. So I always take it down 1 or 2 stops just to make sure it's, not overexposing anything. Underneath that is a little icon with a smiley face. That is what's called a face and smile detector. That mainly is if you're recording people and they smile, it'll lock on that and it'll focus to them. Doesn't really work that well with the animal recording, but I mean it's a good thing to have switched on just by default in case you're recording people. Underneath that is a play icon, the triangle and a square and a bigger square. That's how you play files that are recorded on the camera. And then to the far right, at the bottom, is a GPS icon. And that, if you have GPS enabled on the camera, you can geotag the videos you shoot in different places. It does eat up the battery, and I'm not really sure what advantage it has to recording video with that on, because I've never been able to find the metadata to, actually indicate where the things were shot. But that's one little feature that it has.